I'm very happy that the Gardens Trust has organised a set of talks about the Loudons, and I hope the symposium will persuade English Heritage to correct the blue plaque on their house. It's willing to do this when the dates are wrong, which they are. The tagline also needs to be corrected, but how you get all that the Loudons did on a 19-inch blue plaque, I don't know. What the plaque currently says is, "Here lived John and Jane Loudon, 1783 to 1843 and 1807 to 58. Their horticultural work gave new beauty to London squares." There is no actual evidence of John influencing London squares, though it is quite likely. The new plaque should also outline the Loudons' vast importance in the histories of garden design, publishing, landscape architecture, civil engineering, building architecture, town planning, sci-fi futurology, and sewage disposal. From a list of over 40 innovations, I've chosen 8 examples. The first is the gardenesque planting for which Loudon is remembered. The drawing is of the house and garden he designed for himself 3 to 5 Porchester Terrace in Bayswater, for which a full planting schedule survives. The gardenesque principle was to use exotic plants in what we would call a naturalistic composition, and he called a picturesque composition. This principle led directly to the work of William Robinson, Gertrude Jekyll, and, among many others, Piet Oudolph. Note also the dome on Loudon's veranda. It was based on his experiments in the Hermitage Garden, and it provided the technology for Paxton's Great Stove and Crystal Palace, and for Norman Foster's glazed architecture. My next example is Loudon's 1818 design for the Runcorn Bridge. For this, he invented the use of diagonal stays combined with an arched deck. The engineering idea may well have come from his work on glass and iron shell structures. It is now a leading principle in bridge design. As you can see, Loudon's design was aesthetically and technically superior to Thomas Telford's design. Neither were built. After his health collapsed at the age of 24, Loudon published the world's first illustrated encyclopedias and magazines of gardening, of architecture, and of natural history. In his short life, he wrote more words than anyone who had lived before him. Their length is equivalent to 76 copies of the Bible. The next example is of Loudon's astonishing plan for the growth of London. It laid the intellectual foundation for public parks, green belts, greenways, transport planning, and garden cities. This was followed by a proposal for intercepting sewers north and south of the River Thames, made in 1829. This was 30 years before it was taken up by Joseph Bazalgette, who gave no credit to Loudon. He may not have known it was his idea. Unlike Bazalgette, Loudon wanted the manure to be composted, as would every good gardener. In 1834, with a quotation from Gilbert Lang Meeson, Loudon laid the foundation for what is now the landscape architecture profession. Meeson had written that, "Our parks may be beautiful, our mansions faultless in design, but nothing is more rare than to see the two properly connected." The idea came from landscape painting. John met Jane as a result of reviewing a book she had written 3 years earlier. The interest they shared was in improvement. Jane's book was called The Mummy, and the title of John's review was Hints for Improvement. He was dazzled, as we all must be, by her futurology. She was probably the more imaginative of the happily married couple. Her visions included steam-powered digging machines and milking machines, international balloon travel, female trousers, movable houses, an undersea tunnel connecting England and Ireland, automated lawyers and judges, perhaps using AI, and an electric telegraph. Jane is recognised as a pioneer of sci-fi writing. Though often portrayed as a dutiful wife and obliging amanuensis, which she was, Jane was also a dominant influence on the Victorian garden and a heroine of botanical illustration and floral bedding. She favoured geometrical flower beds based on the principles of colour harmony. I wish the modern world drew more from the Loudons and less from Le Corbusier.